Hey there, welcome back. We are going to do one of my most favorite topics, and that is mapping. Okay, so here's how you do mapping. I've got city, country, and state. And what we're going to do ahead of time is we're going to create a hierarchy, okay, so that I can group these things together. So again, there's a few ways we can do it. I'm just going to do a multi-select, right-click, hierarchy, create hierarchy. Okay, I'm going to make it country, state, and then city. Okay, now as you can see, we have these globes, right? The globe means it's already read that it's a location. Now, if you happen to have a column that says, the letters PC for postcode or ST for state, Tableau may not recognize that that's a state. So what you can do is, if you click on the symbol, right, you want to set it to geographical role and to the one that you're interested in. Okay, so for postcode it's here, state is here, country it's here, city, and then the rest, so on and so from and so forth. Okay, so let's start with country. If all you have to do geographical mapping is double click this globe. So if I double click there, okay, that's going to start mapping it on our map. And that's it. And what you'll notice is these things have been generated. Okay. What it's doing is it's taking country and it's adding it to detail, which is this one. It's like, what detail do you want to show? Okay. That's basically what it's asking. And it's plotting these, right, in terms of X and Y. Now, I can't remember which one's X and Y, but you got longitude and latitude. Okay. And that's how it plots these values. And there's a lot of things we can do here. So let's start with sales. Let's say I want to see what the sales values are by country. I can grab sales, I can drop it into color, right? And now it's color coded by sales. We can change this just like we do with everything else. Let's go red and black. I want to see who are the worst performing countries. I can bring in the names. So again, I can grab country, drop it into label. Okay, I can see it like that. I can add in the sales into the label as well, so we can see what's happening. And in addition to this, you can actually do some pretty cool things here. You can zoom in, okay, you can zoom out, right? And as soon as you zoom in, right, this pin is going to happen, which means you're no longer on auto fit. So if you click it, it just resets the map. Okay, we can also navigate this. Sorry, my face was itchy. We can also navigate the area. So we can use a zoom, right? So we can zoom like that, right? We can pan, right? We can move around. We can use the square selector. And this is really good for when you're starting to select information, you're doing groupings and all that, which we're going to get to, right? We can also do, if I reset this, we can use a radial plot, right? Which is a circular one. So I can say a certain distance, okay? And this is really useful for when you want to see the distance between something, right? If I zoom in enough, right, we should be able to show the distance. If I do this, right, I think I'm not zoomed in enough yet. Not yet. There we go. And the reason this distance doesn't come up straight away is because the globe is a sphere, right? And it's not a perfect sphere either. And what happens is the distance, if I did a circle here, right? If I did that, there's no way to accurately say the distance of it because the globe is a sphere. So it's not actually it's not flat, right? So you have to get in pretty close enough so that the curvature of the Earth no longer impacts the radial distance. Okay, if that makes any sense, right? But that's basically what it does. And I can also use this one, which is the lasso, right? And that's good for if I want to select a certain area, like so. Okay, I can do that, right? So you've got a lot of features with the mapping. So let's do a few more things. Let's go new sheet. And instead of country, let's do city. So you're going to have a lot more points. Right? So we just double click. Now we're going to have a lot of individual points. And there's a few things you can do here. Let's say I want to see sales. Again, same thing. I can drop sales into color, right? We can now see all the sales. Let's change this color to something a bit more evident. And let's reverse this. So we can actually see Berlin and Vienna are making huge amounts of sales, right? In addition to color coding, we can actually use this feature, right? Which is size. The more sales they have, the bigger the dot, Okay, so if we grab sales and drop it in size, again, another way to look at your data. These red points we didn't see before, but it's actually London, Paris, Madrid, Berlin, and Vienna are making most of our sales. We can change the size of this, right? Like so, right? That's one way to do it. You can also change the color. You can put borders around it if you really wanted to. Probably don't suggest that, right? Again, another way to look at the data, right? And you'll have heaps of fun playing with this kind of stuff. One of the new features that was added recently is called the a density plot. So if I come in here, instead of it being a circle, which is what these are, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and go density, right? And what it's going to do is when the points overlap or they're close by, it will actually get darker. So it's a great way to see any concentrations of your data points. And it's not the best when it looks like this, so we're going to change it a little bit. Let's go color, right? And we're going to change it to maybe one of these ones, okay? As you can see, it's a little bit darker, and we're going to increase the intensity. All right, maybe not that much because we want to still have some insights. All right, so we can actually see from here that we're getting some spots here, 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 and here. In an Excel spreadsheet, you just can't see this, right? So you need these kinds of mapping software, these mapping tools to really see what's happening in your data. And you can change this from sales, you can change it to something else. So let's say we're going to change this to profit. Let's drop profit into color. Oh, we don't need that part, right? So now we can see who are the most profitable, right? We can see who's got the most quantity, the discounts, and you see how the data points can change. And you can have multiple ones of these, right? Very, very useful feature. And that is pretty much all I want to show you for mapping, because there's a lot that you can just play with, right? Actually, no, one more thing I want to show you is just the formatting. So let's say I wanted to make this a little bit prettier. If I go map and go map layers, okay, I can actually change what it looks like. I can go normal, I can go dark, right? I do like the dark one. I always feel like I'm, in an air traffic controller or something. I can go streets, outdoors, I can go satellite, which is pretty cool, right? And if you've got 2019 Tableau, I think 2019.1 or 0.2 or later, you could have these features. I think before 0.1 or 0.2, these mapping options weren't available. You only had light, normal, and dark, right? And they also used the old software for the OpenStreetMap, so it didn't load up as quickly. All right, let's go back to normal, and I'm going to change this to points again. Okay, just little points, size, and let's make this red and black again. Okay, so we have all our little points like so, right? And I want to introduce some features. So let's go all the way into, let's say here, let's zoom in, right? I can add terrain, coastline, I can add streets, or I can add all sorts of things for my view, right? Postcode, borders, and it loads very fast. So it's all about what you want to show to your users. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff you can show. So if I zoom in again, you can start seeing a lot of detail. And if you go to this satellite, you can actually see the cities themselves. Like, this is just crazy. Like, you can just keep going. Like, and look how fast it renders. I mean, you can look at the entire planet, really. Let's just try here. Where do I live? Where's Australia? Okay, so let's see how quickly we can zoom. So Australia, here, we're living here in Victoria. Let's go into the city. Let's come here. All right. So I'm somewhere in here. I'm somewhere in here. So a lot of things you can do with maps. So we're going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.